something that I would like to share some information about just so that we can have a better understanding is this idea of the Noahide laws. So what we know is that God made a covenant with Noah while they were in the ship. We know that Abraham came from Shem, one of Noah's sons, and the rest of the world comes from the other two sons. So it's pretty obvious to know that there would have been some sort of understanding and laws regarding Hashem and how to worship him. It didn't just go away completely, right? Like, people had to have had throughout the world this understanding. So this is where the idea of the Noahide laws come in. 6 of the laws were the rules that Hashem gave Adam, and the rule that was added to make it 7 was the rule about eating animals. So these are just some basic rules that Hashem gave the other nations in order that they can receive a status in the world to come. So this idea of misinformation is not new. It's an old regime trick. It's a classic, mind you. But the thing that was happening just a couple thousand years ago was that people from other nations were being told and taught they had zero access to the God of Israel. We can understand, practically speaking, if we look at it. God makes a covenant with Noah. Noah has 3 sons. One of the sons becomes cursed. That leaves 2 sons. And from one of those 2 sons come Abraham, which means the nations did have access to God. So I just want to show you the Noahide laws. So you have really simple laws. Establish a law of land. Don't curse God. Don't murder anyone. Don't rob anyone. So it's all very simple. So why this mass campaign against the other nations to make them believe they didn't have access to God when they did? And I know this is something that's really hard to understand. This was a massive governmental lie that's gone on for 2,000 years, that people from other nations didn't have access to God when they did. And they do. Without anything else. Just straight access to God. They already had it. And it's hard. It's hard for people. People have a really hard time wrapping their minds around that they've been lied to, that they believed the lie, that everything in their life up until this point has been a lie. It's really hard. It's really hard. It's an identity crisis. And the other thing that's hard for them is the holidays, Christmas is complete and total idol worship. And when you have this holiday in the darkest part of winter that uplifts everyone, what do you do with that? And the same thing with Easter. Easter also, it's complete and total idol worship. Even the name Easter is the name of the God in which the holiday commemorates. So what do you do when your whole life you've celebrated these things? They're traditions. It's hard. People are in a hard position. You have fond memories of family gatherings, all of the things that come with it. It's an identity crisis. You're going through an identity crisis. To this I say, in the winter, there's Hanukkah. In the spring, there's Pesach. And if you need a pick-me-up, there's also Purim, Tu B'Av, So there's lots and lots of holidays from the Bible that you can celebrate. You just gotta educate yourselves and figure out how. And I think the important thing to understand is right now, worldwide, we're all going through a collective identity crisis. We've all been lied to about so many things, and all of us together, we're pulling together to try to get to the bottom of it, to start from scratch, going down, back to the beginning, back to the foundations. And so these Noahide laws was access granted to the God of the universe from Noah, the time of Noah, till now. It's very simple access, no mediators, nothing, just direct access by doing these things. Yeah. So hopefully, in time, we can all work together to get to the bottom of it, to get to the bottom of everything, and start revealing the truth.